All right, we do have breaking news from that. We talked about voters, and this is a huge protest going on, led by the top Democrat in the House. This is Hakeem Jeffries.
President Kelly, so appreciative of his leadership and his partnership, his strength, and his resilience for such a time as this. After he finished his remarks, I was tempted to get up here and say, let the church say amen. Because he's brought a word on today. We are standing in solidarity with each and every one of you during this incredibly fragile time. I wanted to make sure I crossed the street to make it clear that the attack on you, the attack on the civil service is unacceptable, unconscionable, un-American, and we are going to stand with you until each and every one of those unlawful executive orders are fully and completely reversed, buried in the ground, never to rise again. Now, I stand here with all of you, having grown up, been born in Brooklyn Hospital, raised in a working class neighborhood in central Brooklyn, grew up in a union household. Both my parents, public employees throughout their entire lives. My mom, 45 years working for the city of New York. My father, 30 years working as a substance abuse counselor for the state of New York. And so I stand here today not just as a member of Congress, but as a member of your family. The family of public employees who serve this country well. You should be respected, not rejected. You should be lifted up, not torn down. You should be embraced, not discarded.
Well, I tell you what, it certainly feels like there's a midterm around the corner. Hakeem Jeffries there, just trying to rally this crowd, trying to get a message going with Democrat voters. I don't know if this works. Someone looking out for your taxpayer dollars has found out how badly abused they all are. Let's stop that person, meaning Elon Musk. I mean, I don't know if this does it. But you saw some of the cameras going up to get stuff that was behind them. I had our team in the control room tell me that's because the crowd is massive out there. So my question would be, Guy Benson, what do you show up for this? What's the takeaway, the deliverable for a voter?
Well, I think for a lot of voters, what they're watching on the screen is the Democratic leader in the House surrounded by federal bureaucrats. And he is going to bat for them. They are cheering him on. But you see all their pre-printed out placards. Someone paid for that. We pay all of their salaries, including Hakeem Jeffries. He at least is elected. They're all unelected bureaucrats. We pay their salaries. And the idea that we can't, as taxpayers, demand a look at how they spend our money and what they're doing on the job, and they're all up in arms about it, I think it's offensive, frankly, to a lot of taxpayers. There was a huge sign if we were to pull out that said, no one elected Elon Musk. They had a big banner that said that. No one elected any of them either, these bureaucrats. They have been playing games and dispersing our money for decades on end, anonymously with no accountability. And now they're saying, oh, well, Elon's the first unelected guy we don't want looking at our money or handling our money. It's just preposterous.
That's a good point. Yeah. And not just allowed to do it, but with complicity, because if you don't stop something, you must love it.
To save us money as opposed to spend ever more amounts of it, shoveling it out the door. That's a refreshing change to a lot of people. These people have their interests at heart, their interests, not ours.
So Congressman Chip Roy told me something that was rather disturbing. You know, one of the agencies that Musk went to look at had rats in the basement and all sorts of things. They had not moved a box in years. He said there were cell phones that had the same numbers. They'd never even been disengaged.
Just paying the monthly bill?
I don't know how, I don't even know what country we're in right now that anybody would push against saying, yeah, flip on that light, let's see what the problem is in here. But there you have it, center screen. That person would be Hakeem Jeffries, who leads Democrats in the House, saying, don't turn on the light.
You know, federal deficit transcends party lines, and you should be seeing Democrats and Republicans coming together to do anything they can to bring this deficit down. Unfortunately, I think what's happening right now with DOGE is you have a wrecking ball type manner to try and bring the cost down, which, as we know, wrecking balls, they're actually quite effective at causing destruction and making change. But people are up in arms. Specifically, I can talk about the NIH grant funding that also a judge is trying to intervene on. The National Institute of Health just last week said that they're going to pull back and they're going to say they're only going to now be, federal government's only going to be, they're going to cap indirect costs or overhead for research funding at 15%. $83 billion were spent for research in 2019. 44 billion of that was paid by taxpayers. Now, guess who's not paying the overhead like the U.S. taxpayers are? You heard Rosanna say earlier, Soros. The Soros Foundation, the Gates Foundation, when it comes to indirect costs for these universities, their indirect costs are 15% or less. The U.S. taxpayers are paying about 60% right now, so we should be limiting it.